Okay, it's rap pack to my pulse flat. We keep it real, no false rap. I got 4 cars and they all black. Got 4 bras and they all that. We call that ballin'. Doing this is my calling. Flow is so appalling. My phone off and she calling.
What's going on, internet, and welcome back to Nth-Level Entertainment, the most awesome series, comic book and movie related YouTube channel in South Africa. I am your host, The Entertainer, and today we're going to be doing episode 9 of the 50 greatest movies of all time review series. And today we're reviewing a movie called The Intouchables. And guess what? It's another foreign language film. I am so lucky. This was a very hard movie to get through because once again I had to read subtitles. This time the movie's in French, but it wasn't as difficult this time around to get through this one because the story itself was actually carried through in the acting of the characters that were involved in the story itself. So the story basically follows 2 characters, Dries and Philippe, who meet through very unusual circumstances. Philippe is basically a billionaire who has had a stroke, and he's someone who can actually buy everything except for the use of his own body. And Dries is someone who comes from the rough side of town. He's got a very poor family background. He's a hustler. He makes what he can on the street, kind of thing. And he also has a criminal record due to having spent time in prison because I think it was a robbery that he had committed. So because of his criminal record, he finds it hard to find work and support his family, and so on and so forth. So basically he lives by whatever opportunities that can bring him money in order for him to buy food, clothe himself, take care of his family, so on and so forth. So anyway, so Philippe is someone who is always hiring caregivers, to be part of his staff that actually take care of him because he's unable to take care of himself the way an able-bodied person would. And Dries lands up in one of these interviews, basically expecting to be turned down because of his criminal record, so that he can go back and show a signed document that he was turned down to, I think, the equivalent of social services, something along those lines, so that they can continue giving him, food stamps or unemployment aid of some sort. But this time around, Philippe actually hires him. And through this, they actually form a bond. Dries basically learns about the other side of life through Philippe, and Philippe learns what it's like to not be treated with pity, because that's the only thing that made Dries stand above all the other people that he had hired in the past. So it was a great film. We saw a lot of character development through these 2 people, and them forming their friendship and learning different things through each other. So the first act of the movie is actually a flashback in that we see Dries and Philippe having a joyride in one of his expensive cars and then being stopped by cops and them getting out of that. And then that's how the first scene opens, and then basically the rest of the act is a telling of how things came to that point, and then the movie carries on after that. So eventually it goes to a point where Dries actually has to go home and take care of some family issues, and then Philippe has to hire new people who he doesn't have the same relationship with as he did with Dries, because they treat him with pity basically because of the fact that not only is he their employer, but he's also severely disabled. So he's unable to actually get past that because he didn't have that kind of relationship with Dries. So eventually Dries is called back to take care of him for the rest of the story. So it was very heartwarming, like I said. It was one of those, I wouldn't say triumph over the human spirit. It's more like a buddy drama film, never actually seen before. It's the kind of archetype you would expect in a buddy comedy cop movie, but instead this time it isn't a comedy, it's a drama, and a very intense one at that too, because it's dealing with topics of disability and discrimination and so on and so forth. And then it also deals with the topic of materially you might have everything you've ever wanted, but if your quality of life doesn't match that, you can have a very sad and depressing life. And the people around you also have something to do with what the quality of your life is. So that's I guess the message, if I can put it that way, that I took away from this movie. It was a well shot movie. I think one of the things that made it easier for me to actually understand it, as opposed to Seven Samurai, is that it was a more recent movie, so the acting was more contemporary. It was more to the style of what I'm used to. So that way I was able to understand the story through the choices that the actors made on screen, as opposed to what I was watching on Seven Samurai. So I would give this movie, just purely based on story content, an 8 out of 10. It just loses points simply because, it was a little bit difficult for me to understand, and it's also very far out of my wheelhouse. The lack of action and effects and so on and so forth, and Easter eggs, made it hard for the movie to keep my attention throughout the story. It was a task for me to stay concentrated. But nonetheless, it was a very good movie. I see why it deserves its place among the 50th greatest movies of all time. It's a very intense and eye-opening story, and for myself, something very different from what I'm used to. So if you've seen the movie, let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this review, please click on the thumbs up to see more. Please subscribe and click on the bell icon so you are notified every time I drop new content on the channel. So that'll be my review, guys. Once again, thank you very much for spending time with me. I have been your host, Z the Entertainer.
Hey guys, thanks a lot. If you want to see some more from us, click here or click here.